Hi, captains. Recently, I got selected into AI Cadet Pilot program, and I will be starting my flying with L3 Harris soon. Your podcast is what helped me gain bigger picture in aviation. Thank you, all Team CNTAA. My doubt is, okay, before I continue, what's up, what's up, what's up? Welcome back to India's #1 pilot podcast. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. And today's episode is going to be the question and answers. Capt.Neha has her commitments today, so she won't be able to joining us. So I and Winged Engineer Chintan will be doing this podcast today. Question and answers, and then we'll follow up with some just conversations about our flying and all of those things.
Yes, and all the questions which we are going to answer in this podcast are the comments which you have posted on the Q&A session number 6, which was episode number 74. So we'll try to answer each and every question that was there in the comment section. And again, this will be a generalized advice depending upon the question asked. And if you're planning to take our advice, make sure it falls under your situation or whichever situation you are in currently.
Yeah. Any of the suggestions or any of the views that we share on this channel are of our own. So you have to take it with a grain of salt, okay? It's what is suitable for you, okay? What we share here is our view of the world, having lived this journey for last few years, okay? So that's what we will be sharing.
Yes, and if you would like to have a personalized, let's say if we answer your question right now, and if you think there's more you want to ask in detail, but you don't want to share it on the comment section, you can drop us a DM on any of our Instagram channels, and we'll be happy to connect with you and help you through the journey of the airline pilot.
Absolutely. And if you are calling CNTA to speak with any of us, you can request to do so. And Franklin will connect you with us in order to speak about your specific concern. Okay. So thank you. Let's start. Okay. Sibi has asked, I'm 26 now, thinking about starting pilot training as a career switch. If I start now, I'll probably complete my CPL by the age of 29 or 30. I've heard that getting hired after 29 is quite difficult in airlines. Do you think I can still get job at 30, or is it too risky of a step?
So what I think is if someone is planning to do a career switch at the age of 26, then that person has to be sure that this is the thing they really wanted, because after this I don't think so you'll have any chance to work on something, because
Right.
then like generally I'm just giving a view, because generally by the age of 30 people get married and then you have a lot of responsibilities to take any additional risk.
Correct.
Okay, so first of all, be sure that you want to become pilot. And second thing, once you start the pilot career, like let's say you start preparing for DGCA exams, your medicals and all of those things, put your all in, like go in 100%. And by the age of 29, as you rightly predicted, that you'll have a CPL. And airlines in India generally hire up till the age of 35. And that depends upon the market as well. Sometimes the age is reduced to 32 as well. But once you get a CPL at the age of 29, you do have fair chances to appear for the airline interviews. And if you clear them, you are into the airline. So it's as simple as that. And 35 is what is the limit according to me. And even
40 if you're type rated.
Yeah. And it depends upon the airline as well, if they want to hire, or how is the requirement for new pilots. One more option which we would like to suggest is going via the instructor pathway. So if you think that you want to get a CPL, work as a flight instructor for 2 to 3 years, get your ATPL and then apply for airline, the chances of getting into the airline improve significantly.
At the same time, for the age of 26, that is not the necessary path. Okay, I mean, I myself, okay, I can talk for myself. It's the life that I have lived. So I started at the age of 28, 29. Started at that age, okay? A civil engineer, if you may know, and I practiced into it for quite some time. And then I started at the age of 28, 29. And now, Chintan is also a civil engineer. He is a GIA also. He started, even you started at 25, 23.
Yeah.
I started at the age of 28. So, no, it is not late. 26 is a normal age to begin pilot career. At the same time, one intricacy that I'd like to mention is, what have you been doing in the meanwhile? So what was your occupation in the meanwhile, while you were, when you finished your graduation or 12th, from that point until now, what have you been doing? Were you doing some job, or you were pursuing certain studies? As long as it is not something that is not doing anything, that should not be a problem. If at all there is a gap, then there has to be a reasoning for that gap, because just doing CPL is not the point. The point is, we have to see it through, right? We have to see it through getting into an airline. So when we sit into the panel for the interview, there are these questions that what have you done until now? So I would be considering that question as well when you ask this question. So if you have finished your graduation, then that would be probably by the age of 22. Okay, 22 you would have finished. Now 22 to 26, what was your occupation? That is a question to be answered when it comes to interview, whether be it a cadet pilot interview or be it an airline selection interview after CPL, whichever it is, that would be the point that we would focus on in this. But 26, 27, 28, 29 is not too late, because it again gives you a long buffer period of 6 to 7 years, 10 years with respect to certain airlines, if you are type rated. So, and I think considering current industry situation, 10 years is a way longer period than what's required to get a job. We'd still always consider 2 to 3 years of buffer period, as we have repeatedly mentioned on this podcast. Make sense?
Yes.
If you have any further following question to this answer, feel free to ask in the comments in this itself. Okay, thank you for your question.
Yes, moving on to the next one from Aditya Mahanwar. Hi, what are the factors that need to be considered in selecting the right flight school? Are there any specific parameters?
Okay, right flight school. Now, as DGCA has come up with the ranking system. Now, ranking system has multiple factors. Those may not be on the top of my memory right now, but number of instructors, number of aircraft, number of students, the ratio of each student to aircraft ratio, student to instructor ratio. Okay, so how many students are there, how many aircraft are there, how many instructors are there, average duration of someone who starts their CPL from the first flight until they get their 200 hours. What is that? This is for Indian flight schools, but same applies for any flight school in the world. From your first hour, first flight until you finish your CPL, how long did it take? Okay, so you can ask the flight school students themselves who have finished their flying, that how long did they take from the first flight until their CPL. Now you can average out. See, this duration is subject to student performance as well. Now, student performance, someone may adapt certain skills quickly. Someone may take longer time to adapt skills, correct? Okay. So we have to average out. If you have 10 students that you have connected with, now these 10 students average out. Okay, does it take 1 year, 14 months, 16 months, 18 months? Okay, what is it? But average time, that will be one consideration. Okay, then how do they maintain their aircraft? What is there? Do they have in-house maintenance facility for the aircraft maintenance, or they outsource their maintenance? Okay, and another point that we highly consider as important is how long that flight school has been in business. Was that flight school operational when 2008 happened? Was that flight school operational when 2020 happened? These were the financial dips in the industry, significant dips in the industry. Okay, now during these dips, was this flight school financially strong enough to continue their operations? Because in such dips, these flight schools do not get any students as much. And when there are no students coming in, they have a cash flow problem. And in that cash flow problem, many flight schools pause their operations or stop their operations altogether. So how financially well backed the flight school is, these would be certain parameters that we would consider. There would be many more parameters, but primarily these. What do you think? Do you think anything to be added to this?
Yes, you have answered it very well in the concise manner. One point I would like to add is there have been some instances in the past where, let's say, the flight school had a transfer of the ownership or something like that.
Okay.
So in that way, what a person can do is, as you rightly mentioned, that the person, you should take review from the person who's completed his CPL. You can also take a review from the students who are currently enrolled at the flight school and get a ground check, like how's the operations running right now. And apart from that, let's say if anyone is going abroad for their training, see if they have a DGCA program, because instances have happened in the past that Indian students enroll at a flight school and they get an FEA CPL, but the requirement of DGCA is not fulfilled, and the flight school is also not aware about what are the DGCA requirements. And then when the students come back to India, they have to do a lot of additional hours, which requires a lot of time and money. So DGCA requirement has to be met if you do your training abroad. If you do it in India, everything will be taken care by the flight school. But especially if you're planning to train abroad, then you have to take care of the DGCA requirements.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, there is one intricacy into this. When I said that ask review from students, I mean multiple students who have finished from that flight school. Not one student. See, one student gets into an argument with an instructor. Now that one student is frustrated with the flight school is not the decision point for you. Does that make sense?
Yes, I was going to cover this point as well.
Yeah.
So, as we have seen in our flight school as well, if a student, let's say, has come to the flight school with expectation that on day one he'll start his flight training, in 1 to 2 months is complete his private pilot license, and then next 3 months IR, and then next 3 months commercial, and within 10 months he'll complete his CPL. But if that is not happening, so his plan was to complete his CPL in about 10 months, but if that doesn't happen, then automatically he start thinking, okay, the school is bad.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have aircraft, they are not giving me aircraft to fly.
Yeah.
And most of the time the delays happen because of weather, which is not in anyone's control.
Right.
And very few time it happens due to maintenance of the aircraft, and that's perfectly fine, because the training aircrafts are flying all day long and have been put into a lot of stress as well, because we do a lot of maneuvers. So timely maintenance is also required. So if there is any delay due to weather or due to maintenance, let's say, I'm not talking about like 3-4 months of delay, I'm talking about a week of delay, that can happen at a flight school. So there won't be any flight school who will have 100% positive results, because this is a cycle. It's a 1-year cycle. Okay, so in some months due to weather the flying will be slow, in some months due to maintenance the flying will be slow. So that is a cycle. So the person who joins a flight school in the month of December, from December until May, he will have good flying hours. But from June to August, when there is monsoon, the flying hours will drop significantly. And again from October, November, 2 months, they'll fly good. But from December, due to the early morning visibility, the flying will again be reduced. So it's a cycle. It's a continuous cycle. So you will experience both good and bad of a flight school. So that's
Yeah.
completely all right.
One thing that we both missed on was the incidents or accidents that have happened in the flight school. Now, this incident or accidents have to be considered in how much flying is happening in a particular flight school and how many incidents have happened. One flight school does annually has 2 aircraft, and total flying annually is say 500 hours, okay, including 2 aircraft, 500, 600 hours, 3 CPL students output every single year, okay. Another flight school is doing 10,000 hours, okay, and has 50 CPL students, CPLs issued from that flight school. Now, obviously, the chance of the 10,000 hour flight school meeting with incidents is higher because that's how math works, okay? That's how probability works, okay? Now, another intricacy to that is, was that incident because of the maintenance quality or because of the pilot error? Okay.
Yes.
Now, pilot error in the early stages of flight training, the probability of that happening is high because it's training, right? And the whole idea of that pilot to be trained is for any of such incidents to not happen in the future when actual things are at stake, actual passengers are flying. That is why the training exists, right? So those are the things that now, how do you know? Now, you know by knowing the maintenance quality in that particular aircraft, average aircraft age, how old are the aircraft. That would be another point that you can consider. So I think that is all that we would consider.
Yes. And when you're looking at the accident, don't look at the numbers, look at the percentage. So it will solve your equation. Yeah.
And when you sum all these parameters up one by one by one by one by one, okay, and rate the flight school in your view, now compare it with the cost. When you do that, you have your answer. You have a winner, right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Next question is from J. Majumdar. J. Majumdar says, "Hello, sir. Captain Winged Engineer. I love your podcast. So I would like to get a suggestion about my type rating. Considering the situation of aviation right now, shall I do my rating from Boeing or Airbus? And if someone decides to choose Airbus, is A321 better than 320?
So as we answer this question, we are sitting in the month of October 2025. I would have a little biased opinion for the Airbus 320 type rating. As we have read the news and something, the Boeing manufacturing company, which is in Seattle, is facing some issues in the manufacturing department, especially the workers are going on strike. The aircrafts are delayed indefinitely. The Boeing deliveries are getting delayed indefinitely. So according to me, right now, if I were to choose which aircraft would I get type rated on, it would be the Airbus and 320. So there's no separate type rating for the Airbus 321. It's just a couple of sim sessions added to the 320 type rating. You get the rating for the Airbus 321. So there's no separate type rating for the 321. Once you are rated on the Airbus 320, you can fly the Airbus 320 family, starting with 319, 320, 321. All the variants.
Including the XLR. There would be additional certain things for XLR. And further to that is there are no A321 simulators.
Yeah.
All the simulators that are there are A320 simulators. Now they will come up with A321 simulators eventually. But essentially the type rating for 319, as Chintan said, 19, 20, 21 is the same type rating. And even I think in this time it's like the most stable aircraft in the industry that has been going on. So yeah, you never know. As the reason for, because Chintan mentioned that date before answering this question is because these things are very fluid
Yeah.
and keep on changing at all times. Now, if Akasa starts to get 10 aircraft in a year, 10, 15 aircraft in a year, that may change the whole dynamic again. But as of now, 320 sounds like more promising. Even I feel so. Yeah. Okay. Someone has mentioned that all 320 family jets have the same type rating. In fact, you can operate all 320, 330, 340, 350, 380 with just A320 type rating. That is wrong.
Yeah.
That is wrong. 330, 340, 350, 380 have different type ratings of their own. Because all the aircraft numbers and everything, yes, there is a cockpit similarity in this. So Airbus calls it as cockpit commonality. Okay. So commonality is there, but no, the type ratings for 330, 340, 350, 380 are different. Okay. Yeah. Aircraft, yeah, essentially there is a commonality for sure. Okay. Then another question is, can we directly opt out for flying 321 or we just gotta fly 320 first?
I think we have to do the 320 type rating first. And then once you have the training for 321, you can fly 321. There's no compulsion to just start the 320. But if an airline has a mixed fleet of Airbus 320 and 321, they'll definitely train you for the 321, and you can fly the 321 if you have the requirements met by the airline. But as such, apart from the airline, there's no requirement to operate 321 if you have the endorsement.
Absolutely. Now, intricacy into that is the PFPM roles. If you are to fly 321 as a PF role, as a first officer, you need to have certain hours. That is from the DGCA, and every airline has different requirements for it. Okay. Yeah. Next.
Yes. So moving to the next question, which is from Mohammad Sokhat Ali. Hello everyone, myself Abbas, following podcast for a while and it feels helpful. Thank you. Question number 1. Let's say I took a loan for CPL which covers the whole amount. After completing my CPL, the vacancies would come for CPL holders. My question is, should I go for it or not? Because if I get selected, I have to pay fees for airline, for type rating and airline training. So, should I take a loan against... Should I take a loan again for those or do a job as a flight instructor, earn some money and hours and then apply for an airline job?
Yeah. So my view about this is, once you have the certification, be it CPL, be it type rated, be it any certification in the industry, get a related job as soon as possible. Right now, if in front of you an instructor's job is there, I would take it.
Yeah, definitely.
If there is a CPL job that is there, I would take it. Okay. Now, if there is a vacancy coming up, which in next year there might be, yes, and you are ready with your CPL, go for the CPL vacancy. Take the loan for type rating and do it. If there is no vacancy but you have the instructor's job in front of you, I would take it. Because the moment you take that flying job, your logbook starts to become more and more important book.
Yes.
That is backing you. Be it on a single engine, a multi-engine, A320, a Boeing, ATR, whichever it is, doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. If you start to do ATR, ATR teaches you more stick and rudder skills. The auto thrust is not there. You have to do the manual thrust all the time. Teaches you better flying. Back in the time, there used to be Q400. Now, I don't know where SpiceJet stands, but to be honest, as we fly, the people that have come from turboprops or that have been instructors, their stick and rudder skills are much, much, much better than someone who has directly started. So it depends. Whatever the job that is in front of you, if you are getting that job right now, if you have that opportunity, if you are presented with that opportunity, I would take it. Be it ATR, be it Boeing, be it Airbus, be it instructor, whichever it is, I would take it. And about the loan for the type rating. Now, if hypothetically, if this is a situation, say in February of 2026 or March of 2026, you have instructor's job as well that you are presented with, and you have ATR job as well that you are presented with. In that case, I would take ATR.
Yes.
Okay, if you have 320 job presented and you have ATR job presented or instructor's job presented at the same time, I would take 320 job in that case. Does that make sense?
Yes. One thing I would like to point out, like in the question you have mentioned, you would like to take a loan which covers the whole amount of training. So generally, I don't advise to take the whole amount as loan. A 50% self-sponsored and 50% loan is a good mixture, because what will happen is in 100% loan, let's say you take a loan of 50 lakh rupees. Once you complete your CPL, you have to start paying the EMIs. So in that way, the EMI will be a lot more when you compare to the EMI for 25 lakh rupees.
Absolutely. Yeah, and when we speak about the loan, at least half of the salary as a first officer goes, like first officer. Once you become a senior first officer, that is a different story. But when you are a first officer, at least half of the salary goes into paying off the loan. And that continues for 4 to 5 years. Then by that 4 to 5 years, you should be senior first officer with an ATPL and ready for your command as well. In that time, that loan amount seems to be negligible and is almost paid off. That is how it is. Second question by Mohammed himself is, what is the eligibility to write RTR exams?
So for RTR, there's one thing is you need to be at least 17 years of age. And apart from that, I don't think so you require any qualification, because they don't ask for your mark sheet or anything like that.
Moving forward, as it comes to DGCA, there might be a computer number requirement to appear for that.
Yes. So we are waiting for the car. So everything. So earlier, the RTR exam was conducted by WPC. Now it is being transferred to DGCA. So by October end or in the month of November, we'll receive an updated car with all the changes. So we have to wait for that to get the updated eligibility to write the RTR exam.
As you mentioned in the last podcast about MPL program, will there be increments in salaries too?
That depends upon the airline you fly for. Generally, it's been a while that the pilot salaries are increased. So I think a salary increment might be around the corner. Just it depends when.
So this we have covered in one of the episodes in the past. I do not recollect the number of that specific episode, but where we mentioned that the salaries of any skilled worker, in any industry, or related to demand and supply, how much of that skill is desired and how much is the supply of it, how many. So say let's take an example of let's take example of pilots. Okay, now industry has say 3,000 2,000 pilots waiting for the job, Industry requires 1,000 pilots a year. Now, is there a need for increment in salary? No, there is no need because the talent is available. If there is higher demand than the supply, then the salaries increase. So this MPL program, how does it reflect with respect to availability or supply of pilots? That will dictate whether it increases or decrease, not decrease hopefully, but remains the same kind of thing. So when salaries remain the same for too long and the inflation is increasing, the perceived value of that money becomes lesser. Back in the time when 2006-7 pilots, commanders, captains used to be paid 8 to 10 lakh rupees. Captains still get paid 8 lakh rupees. The point is the buying power of 8 lakh rupees back in 2008 was way different than the buying power of 8 lakh rupees in 2025.
Yes.
That's one. Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you for your question. We really appreciate it. Abhay Bharadwaj has asked, hello, can you guys please look into VATSim for RTR call practice? I'm 12th grade and I've been flying on VATSim for 2 years. I have about 500 hours there. It's very realistic ATC simulation. I can do any RTR calls already, VFR, IFR, and I'm already familiar with stars and SIDs of VOBL, which is Bangalore, VIDP, Delhi, VABB, that is Mumbai. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. It shows that you are enthusiastic about flying the aircrafts and you know how to communicate with ATC and you have already have 500 hours on there. So that's great job. And we haven't tried, I myself haven't tried VATSim. I have downloaded once, but then I was actually flying the aircraft. So that made no point for me to sit on VATSim and simulate those things because we were doing in real life.
Right.
And once you start flying, the RT and everything will improve with practice. So if you already know, that will definitely give you an edge if you are planning to become a pilot in future. So yeah, if you're planning to become a pilot, all the best.
See, this was something that was told to me by one of the TRIs back in Thailand. It was like when you start with a new aircraft or even with flying, each procedure is consuming, we have a limited mental capacity, okay, to take in information. Now you may choose to agree upon that or you may not choose to agree upon that. That is up to you. But humans have limited mental capacity at any given point of time. Now, that mental capacity increases for a task when each of the tasks, see, flying is performing tasks one after the other. In last episode, Capt.Neha mentioned that prioritizing. We don't multitask, we prioritize. We do one task at a time and sequence those in the order of priority. Okay. Now, that mental capacity is consumed by just one task in the beginning so much that we think that we take longer time to finish all the tasks of one after the other. Now, by doing this VATSim, what you are doing is you become familiar with one task out of 7, 8, 10 tasks that you are supposed to perform. So at that time, you have the remainder mental capacity that you have for other tasks to be performed is way more than someone who has not practiced. Does that make sense?
Yes, definitely.
Right? So there are multiple tasks that pilots perform. Okay. Now, for an example, you're flying the airplane. Okay. You're flying the airplane. You're being ahead of the aircraft. Now, after the takeoff, which direction am I going to? how much degree of a turn, roughly. These all calculations are happening in the back of your head, that up to what level am I cleared to climb up to? At what level? This is a crowded airfield. At what level do I need to make my VS within certain limits in order for the crowded airspace, in order to account for the crowded airspace? Because all these stars and SIDs that you mentioned on in your comment are designed in multiple levels. So one aircraft is going and then one aircraft is coming, and there are levels to it. That's why we need to adhere to those level restrictions. How many degrees of a turn am I doing? All of these things are taking some space in that mental capacity. During that, the other pilot is performing, like say you are the PF and the other pilot is the PM, he is performing RT, but that does not free you from the task of listening to RT. You still have to continuously understand and okay. So that one intricacy about the RT calls, because you have done this so many times, and it's all the game of repetition. It definitely is. Now, we cannot attest how accurate is VATSim, but whatever that you have done in VATSim, I'm pretty sure that it won't be out of what is being followed as standard. Okay. Standard is what? Who, where, what. Okay.
Yeah.
Who you are, whom you are talking to. Okay. Where are you and what are your intentions? That is the primary. This is for VFR. Then there are formats for IFR as well. As you have practiced it, you would be well aware about it. Okay. Like the star clearance, the approach clearance, the departure clearance, the different types of clearance. So great job on doing this. And definitely we strongly think that it will help you in your flying. So good job, Abhay Bharadwaj. Make sense?
Yes, definitely. So I'll move on to the next question, which is from Yash Russell. Hi, can you please recommend me an iPad for my pilot training? Which iPad model will be the best? Mini, Air, Pro, Wi-Fi, cellular? Would be very thankful if got an answer.
I'm really surprised that this is a commonly asked question.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, you go for it, Chintan.
So I think during training, we were given the iPad 9th or 10th generation, which was the very, very basic ones. And they were good. But the only problem I faced was they were too big to be inside a Cessna cockpit.
Yeah.
So I would think if you can go for an iPad mini, preferably with a cellular type, then that would be the best iPad for flight training.
Right. Now, it also depends on your size and what size you are comfortable with. See, now I have big hands, right? Like Chintan has big hands. So for us, iPad mini is like, we use the max size phones, okay? So now the max size phones are okay with our hands. And now that we have gotten used to that size, the Pro size feels a little bit smaller for us.
Yeah.
It depends on your size. About the question that I like the most is Wi-Fi or cellular. If you are going for pilot training, you have to get a cellular iPad. You must get a cellular iPad. The reason, not the SIM card. The cellular iPads have the GPS chip into it. And when you download the applications like 4Flight or JetFD or anything, the GPS chip is required in order for you to give that situational awareness of about your position. If you go for Wi-Fi, it would not have that GPS chip and you would not get that GPS dot when you are out of your cellular coverage. Now, regardless of your network is there or not, when you have a cellular iPad, it does show you your position. Okay. So be it iPad Mini, Air, Pro, whichever that you may like, you can go for the cellular one. Mini, Air, or Pro is how much is your budget, how much you want to spend, how much, what size do you like. But just don't get the 13-inch, okay? The 13-inch is way too big for flying. It is just not possible to fit into that tiny Cessna cockpit. While we both
This
use
size.
30.
It's like, yeah.
I mean, we like our iPads because our job of this iPad is different. We write on these iPads. We do different kinds of things with these iPads. But this is not our flying iPad. This is this podcasting and the other iPad that we use. Okay, so do not get the 13-inch iPad. We use the company issued iPad for our flying. We never take this out in the cockpit, or not even carry it in the cockpit for the most part, unless we are going on a layover. Now, the utility of your iPad. Yes, iPad is a must during training. You would require it for your studies. You would require it for your flying. You would require it for n number of reasons. So I would highly, highly recommend everyone who is an aspiring pilot to get an iPad for sure.
Yes, an iPad is a must. It will save you a lot of time, especially when you go for studying, because how it used to be during our flight training days, that whenever we're going for, let's say we are starting for the instrument ground school, and then we meet a friend who has just cleared his instrument ground school. He might have some notes or some PDF which he'll just airdrop it to us, and then we can directly study. But then if we take it on the phone and study, it becomes too difficult. So that's why an iPad is really important. And then you have some CBDs to look at, some aircraft maneuvers video on the YouTube. So it makes sense to get an iPad. It's an investment. You'll use it for a good 5 years.
Yeah, and iPads last forever, like really forever. And I would not be worried about like every next generation of iPads that is coming in. Now this iPad is 3 years old. Now I really like Chintan's iPad. It's really thin in comparison. We both have Pros. We both have 13-inch Pros, okay? But mine is thicker. Chintan's is way thinner, and I really like it. But the point is, this is solving the function, and this will continue to solve the function for another 3 years, 4 years. I don't know until when. So I have no need to change it, right? My last iPad was 2018, 17 or 18. It continued working until 2023 when we went for type rating.
Okay.
Now, when we went for type rating, that is when I got this one.
Okay.
And yours is 24, no?
Yeah. Last year.
Right. Now 25 also they have come up with something.
Yes. Every year they come up with something. Right?
Or this is the latest that you have?
This was the latest until September.
No.
Yeah.
This year they did not launch a new iPad.
Okay. No idea then. I don't follow.
because as far as I know, I don't see any new iPad reviews on YouTube yet.
Okay. Then this might be the latest.
Yeah, okay. It's really thin. It's really thin. It's really nice.
If you guys want to see, I'll just show it to you. This is off topic, but this.
No, it's thin.
This is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And these are the comments which we are reading. It's just YouTube which is open.
Yeah. Mine is in comparison little bit thicker. Okay, let's compare these two like this. Yeah. So yeah, it's I think as thin as iPhone Air.
Yeah, I think so.
I haven't seen iPhone Air in person yet. Did you?
No. I think at some point I've stopped looking at the devices. Earlier I used to be excited about it.
Earlier even I used to be. I am not any.
But now.
Yeah. It's
Time changes.
this is the
things,
phone.
right?
It solves the purpose. It does the job. It
Done.
can, we can call, we can do WhatsApp, we can, yeah.
Yeah, anyways,
Hmm.
yeah. Moving on to the next one. Next question is from Tales with Wix. I have 67% in my 12th, 51 in maths, 47 in physics, 85 in English. Am I eligible for becoming a pilot?
Yes, the answer to this is yes, you are eligible. But if you want to do cadet pilot program, you might have to do physics with NIOS in this case. That is all. Apart from that, then yeah.
Yes, because the eligibility for most of the cadet pilot programs are 51% in each subject, maths, physics, and English. Then you can consider for, if you want to go for the conventional pathway, you can start away, right?
Absolutely.
So if you want to go for the conventional pilot program, you can start right away.
Yeah. Suraj has commented, hi captains. Recently I got selected into AI cadet pilot program and I will be starting my flying with L3 Harris soon. Your podcast is what helped me gain bigger picture in aviation. Thank you all, team CNTA. My doubt is, okay, before I continue, thank you for this comment. This melts our hearts. Seriously.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations. Like, we might not have met, but we are damn proud of you. Great job. And specifically, when you mention L3 Harris, it's too close to home for us.
Yeah.
Like, we have done our training there. So, great job, man. Great job. Congratulations. I'll continue. Okay. My doubt is, does playing Microsoft Flight Simulator 24 or Phoenix A320 actually help during type rating? Does it make it easier? Will it be the same cockpit? That is the question. So
first of all, congratulations on getting through the cadet pilot program. And L3RS, Florida, US, one of the best places to get your training done. And going on to your questions. So the cockpit is same as shown in the Microsoft simulator or any simulator game. The only thing is, how are you learning? Is there anyone to teach you? So let's say you're learning by yourself. Then if you make any mistakes, will you know that you are making mistakes? No, right? So that is one thing.
Yeah.
I feel that happens when people use Microsoft Flight Simulator. But one good thing is you will be familiar with the cockpit layout.
Yeah.
So where are the buttons located? Let's say if you want to start an APU, where is the APU button located? Where are the battery switches located? Okay. Where's the engine masters 1, engine master 2 is located? So in a way, it helps you to get an idea about the cockpit, especially the layout. So when you go for a type rating, you don't have to look up and locate the button. So that is one advantage. Second is, if you have an FCOM and if you are trying to start the initial flows, the checks. So if you just refer the FCOM and follow line by line, so that will help you in the initial cockpit preparation. So in that way, it's helpful. The only thing I'm worried about is if you make any mistakes. So there won't be anyone to correct you until you go for your type rating.
Yeah. So if you have a copy of FCOM, just go into, for now at your stage, simple. Okay, let's keep it simple. If you have a copy of FCOM ready with you, go into procedures, normal procedures, task sharing, and start from the first one.
Yeah.
Right? Don't worry about anything else. Focus on your flight training right now. Focus on your aircraft manuals, AFMs, whatever aircraft that you are flying. It
Mostly the
will,
Pipers. Yeah.
okay. And one thing, do it for us. Say hi to Kyle Resi from us.
Yeah. So Kyle Resi is a check instructor at L3, and we did our training together. And I remember a flight. So my first flight was with him. So when he was in his, I think, 15th flight, so it's called the 15th lesson, just before stage 1 check.
Yeah. I and Kyle started the ground class,
classes
PPL ground class together. Yeah.
Okay. So I was after his batch.
Yeah.
So Kyle was doing his last flight before the stage check, and I just came to US to L3, and day one I was like, I have to go to flight school. I have to see how the aircraft, everything, because you are so excited about flight. So after coming there, I got to know that first 2 weeks I have to go to the ground school and stuff. I was like, I can't wait. So I just went there. I backseated Kyle and all the maneuvers and everything. And then I was like, yes, it's fun.
So you flew for the first time.
First time
as
with Kyle as
That's
a
nice.
as a backseater, as a passenger, you can call.
Yeah. So go to him. Tell him Nilay and Chintan has said hello to you. Please do this for us. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is really heartwarming comment, Suraj. We really, really, really appreciate this comment, and congratulations. And we are proud of what you have achieved. And make the most out of your training. Do really well, and we wish you good luck. And we hope to see you someday crossing paths at some airport. And I'm certain that we someday will.
Yeah. So he has a follow-up question as well. Also, you all did your flying in L3. Please tell me more about the flying and life there. Thanks.
Right. Life in Sanford, Florida. Sanford, Florida is awesome. It's like flying. With respect to flying, you can go to MCO, you can go to Orlando Executive, you can go to Space Coast, you can go to Stewart, you can go to Kissimmee, you can go to Gainesville, Boca Raton, and all of those places. It's all the nostalgia for us.
Yeah.
If you are above the legal age to party, yeah, you can go to Orlando. Orlando is pretty nice. Just make sure never do anything illegal. Be within the confinements of laws and follow the laws. Always follow the rules, follow the regulations. You enjoy within those regulations. Nobody's gonna stop you. It's a country of freedom, right?
Yeah.
So do it, enjoy. And Orlando has, it's the tourist destination, and Orlando is like 30 miles south of Sanford. 30 miles south of Sanford. Amazing restaurants, amazing food, great place, man, great place. Just enjoy, you have a good one. And then you can go to, if you don't want to go to that downtown, then you can go to like downtown Orlando. You can go to downtown Sanford. There is a nice street in the Sanford. It's an old town. Then there is Lake Monroe. You can go up from up north, and there is a boat landing up there. It's beautiful to watch sunsets from there. We used to go and fly drones and do many things up there. And then down south of Sanford, there is Lake Chesapeake. That's also beautiful. So enjoy, man.
Yeah, and more importantly, get a car if you're planning on exploring the states.
Yeah, but drive carefully. It's very important. That's very important. And never drive under influence. Never, ever. That's one mistake for pilots that can never be forgiven. For anybody, for that matter. So enjoy to the fullest within what's legal. Okay. So good luck, Suraj. Enjoy it. You did a good one. Good achievement. Yeah. Again, it's a beginning. So it's the starting of the training. There will be highs and the lows during the training that we all go through. persist, stay in there, hang in there, do what's required, do more than what's required, show up on time, and really, when you show up, fully show up. Study well, practice well, chair fly more. That's about it, man. Okay, Alok Vyas says, bro, you're talking at 0.5x. Yeah, I have to think, yeah, and think and talk. That's why. So, sorry that sometimes it can get a little bit too slow, but the thinking and giving the right answer that requires some time, and then articulate the answer. So, yeah, that pause is for that reason. Okay, Ojas Pawar. What is the cost of airline training if in conventional pathway?
So when you are done with your conventional training, at that point, I assume you have a CPL and then you apply for the airline interviews and then you clear the interviews. Now, let's say you are going for the type rating through the airline. So generally, the type rating is somewhere around 10 to 15 lakh rupees. And once you complete your type rating, there are certain additional endorsements which you have to get for you to work as a P2, which meaning first officer in the airline. So for that, there are certain simulator sessions which have to be done, which can cost around 10 to 12 lakh rupees, and it varies from airline to airline. So in total, for type rating and the line training, it's somewhere around 20 to 25 lakh rupees.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, next question is, right now cadet pilot programs are not open. So should I go for conventional pathway or wait for the cadet pilot program? Same, Ojas has asked this question.
So what I would suggest is, if you're ready to start for the cadet pilot program, and if you have not cleared your DGCA exams or the DGCA medicals, try to get your DGCA medicals and DGCA exams done. Okay, once you are done with that, that is the point to decide whether you should wait for the cadet or start your conventional training. So as we know that the cadet pilot programs, they have been paused for a while because there were a lot of hiring in the first quarter and the end of last year. So that's why there have been paused, because most of the flight schools were full. So now the opening is supposed to come by this year end or next year. So if you can wait for some time, you should wait for the cadet pilot program, provided you are having funds for the same. And then if you think that waiting for 6 months is too long for you, you can go for conventional pathway as well.
So just wants to go for a specific FTO, and at that that FTO offers both conventional and cadet pilot programs. Now, as the wait times are longer, he wants to go to that specific FTO and go for conventional pathway. Would that be a wise choice?
Yes, that will be a wise choice. I mean, it depends. So we don't know what your situation is, what is your educational background, how long you have been waiting. So according to this question, it seems that it's been a while you're waiting for the cadet program, and it's not, the interviews are not coming in, the selection dates are not coming in. So if you think you have waited for more than 6 months, then you can start your conventional pilot training.
And if you are yet to clear your DGCA exams, we'd love to have you at CNTAA. If you are found to be eligible for the enrollment, we'd love to speak with you. You can contact CNTAA on 9930300426.
Yes, moving on to the next question, which is from Swoop Mode. Nice name. What are the benefits of an Indian citizen of holding a commercial pilot license from a foreign country?
Okay, you fly in India with an Indian license or with the aircraft registry in India. There is no specific other advantage of holding another country's license whilst you fly in India. I have Canadian license, I have American license. First I got American license, FAA CPL, then Canadian CPL, then Indian CPL. But what we fly in India is just on the Indian license, Indian CPL. Same for Chintan. even you
Yeah.
have all three licenses, but we fly for an Indian carrier, so we have to have Indian license. Now, there is no as such significant advantage of having other countries' CPL, but there can be a significant advantage if you have other countries' ATPL. That is a different story altogether. So when we get our Indian ATPL, we'd be actively looking to get other countries' ATPLs as well,
Hmm.
specifically EASA and FA. These two ATPLs are recognized throughout the world. So those two are important, definitely important. What do you think?
Yes, definitely. So it's in the long run, like let's say once you gain experience of 5-10 years and once you have an ATPL, you plan to switch to other country, and that may be useful because you don't have to again get a CPL and then you can directly convert your ATPL.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the only advantage I think.
Absolutely. Rishabh Handa has a question. Hi, really enjoy your podcast. I'm currently in class 11th and preparing for my DGCA exam, right now focusing on meteorology. I recently switched from ICSC to PSEB Punjab board so I can dedicate more time to my DGCA exam preparations as well as my medical. My question is, will this change of board affect me in future with respect to airline interview or getting a CPL?
So what I would suggest him is as he is in 11th grade.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's preparing for his DGC exams. That's great. You have time, you are passionate about aviation. But instead, I would like you or I would advise you to focus on your 11th and 12th grades. Let's say if you can score above 80% in each subject, that would be great. Okay. Now, why I say that is because let's say you are prepared for your meteorology, navigation, regulation. You are done with your 12th. And until you get your 12th results, then you apply for the DGCA computer number. You won't be able to give the DGCA exam. So if you study from now, that's great. But if you can study to improve your grades, let's say above 75% minimum in each of those, that will look good on your CV when you go for the airline interviews. Secondly, once you complete your 12th, you will have 3 to 4 months until you get your 12th results and get your computer number. So you can use those 4 months to complete or study for DGC exams.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's about it, because the point is until you finish your 12th you won't be able to apply for your computer number and won't, as a result, won't be able to give the DGCA exams. So do what you are doing right now with full focus, and once you get into the DGCA preparation fully, do that fully. Okay, so that's about it. Good luck.
Yeah. Moving on to the last one, which is from Aditya Mahanwar. Which flying schools in India would you consider if you were starting your training today? And the next question is, which countries would you recommend for flight training abroad?
Okay, we won't name names. The reason being, it keeps on changing every day. Like
Yes.
every week, every month. It's just, so we won't be able to name names. Okay. That said, how to analyze and do your due diligence about any flight school we mentioned in the previous comment, right?
Yes.
Number of aircraft, number of students, number of instructors, number of incidents with respect to number of flying hours annually done in that flight school, all of those things. Okay. It's that in this podcast itself, it's in the previous part. If you haven't gotten the chance, go for that question, and that will answer your question so that you can do your due diligence about the flight school. And same goes for flight training abroad as well. Which countries? US, Canada, New Zealand, Australia, India. We don't recommend South Africa. If you want to, that's up to you. Yeah, that's about it.
Yes. I
Yeah.
think we have. So this were all the questions which were posted in the last Q&A session.
Yeah.
And we have answered all of those. And now, if you have any more questions, you can list down in the comment section of this podcast, and we'll cover it in the next podcast or the next Q&A session next month, which will be in the month of November.
Absolutely. This episode of Pilot Podcast is brought to you by CNTAA, the Pilot Ground School.
Yeah.
So if you are an aspiring pilot looking to clear and your DGCA exams and are serious about your pilot profession and your career and just starting into the aviation journey, contact CNTAA on 9930300426. We'd love to discuss with you, understand what are your requirements, and if you are found to be eligible, we'd love to have you on board CNTAA as an aspiring pilot, as a student, and we'd love to train you. A team of Capt.Neha, Captain Pankaj, and the whole team CNTAA will help you with progressing in your pilot career. Thank you for watching, listening, and subscribing.
Thank you, everyone, for watching the Pilot Podcast until now. And we'll see you in the next one with Capt.Neha.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.